And now, your host, Couch Tomato!
Hey, I'm Couch Tomato and I'm joined by
Hulk.
Welcome to Stuff for Movie Buffs. And today we're talking
Ocean's 8.
All right, let's get into it. Actually, before we get into it, I want to give a huge thank you to our Patreon supporters. Become a patron, and actually head over to our Patreon page and to support everything that we do here, the YouTube channel, the podcasts, etc. So I want to give a huge thank you to one of our new supporters. I'm going to struggle with the name. Forgive me in advance, but it's Tubekchukwu Van Laer. He supported the show, and he'll actually be having a guest spot on an upcoming episode, either Incredibles 2 or Jurassic World, to give his 2 cents on the feature. So if you want to support the show and what we do here, head over to patreon.com/couchtomatofilms. Whatever amount that you give automatically enrolls you to the private group chat that we share, where we discuss movie topics, trailers, movie news, anything related to pop culture. And we also talk about sports there, so nothing's off limits. So if you want to support the show, that's the best way to do it. So that's it about that. So let's actually get into it. Saw Ocean's 8 this week. This was actually one of my, I don't want to say highly anticipated, but it's definitely something that I had on my calendar. So huge fan of the original, not original, but the previous trilogy. So what are your thoughts on Ocean's 11, 12, and 13, Hope?
Yeah, same here. Huge fan. It's probably one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Definitely, one of my top franchises. So like this was on my bucket list of, anticipated movies of the year. So I was definitely I want to say hyped, but intrigued to watch this movie. So yeah, I was pretty excited. This is something I can't wait to watch. June 8th, it was circled on my calendar.
Yeah, so same here. And honestly, I don't really know the target audience for this, but I was the only one I catch matinees too, so that's another thing. But I was the only one under 55 in the theater. And it was just weird. I was like, I love to go see, how when you walk into the theater, above the door is basically that, the title of the movie. I'm like, I must be watching something different. Let me just go make sure I'm in the right theater. So that was weird. So first thing we want to talk about some likes and dislikes. We're going to start off with the likes because, if you don't have anything nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all. So let's start off with some nice things to say, and then we could go ahead and give any negatives, if any, and then we'll get into that. So I'll let you start off first. You get into the theater, and what's automatically some of your biggest likes about Ocean's 8?
Well, it's weird because, with my likes, I would have to say maybe the cast. I like these actors. You know what I'm saying? These group
not
of
just actors.
Actresses, I should say.
No, not just actresses. I mean, the biggest star on this film, it's not Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, it's
if you Google Ocean's 8 cast, Rihanna's name is the first thing that pops up.
Yeah. And it's probably she's probably the character that I probably like the most. But yeah,
you copying off of some of my stuff, by the way. I put my first it's an all-star cast, and question, because Nine Ball is my favorite character probably, because her and someone else remind me of the people that Danny would recruit in the original trilogy. So who can you list off your top 3 if you could get to 3, and I'll give you the 2 people that I like the most.
Okay, that's the thing. There's I have issues with the characters. I would say I like the cast. I think the actresses are talented.
Okay.
But I felt a lot of the characters were lacking in depth, as far as we'll get into it later on, but
yeah, I was gonna say only positives.
Yeah.
So if I got more positives than you, let me ask you this though, out of curiosity, is this group more famous than Ocean's 11's
not
crew?
even close.
You know what? They are.
Oh, no. I don't. Nah. You think so?
You don't think so? Why don't you think so? And I'm gonna tell you why. Like, who's the biggest star on? And I'm not talking about lifetime resume, because Ocean's 11 has a lot of lifetime resumes on there, like people who've been doing it for a long time. But Ocean's 8, I feel like this movie should have came out like a year ago, or it should have been closer to Sandra Bullock's Oscar win.
Yeah.
But it is close enough to Thor Ragnarok for Cate Blanchett, to where a lot of younger people know her now. But cast-wise, though, Rihanna's like the biggest star in this film. Like, I think you're underestimating her star power. Like, she's one of the biggest stars
in the world.
right
Yeah,
now.
of course.
And then she's the biggest star that they had in Ocean's 11. I would say Brad Pitt over George Clooney. I think Brad Pitt just been
close,
in more,
but yeah,
he's been in more pop culture stuff. I think George is probably the more. I don't know. It is pretty close, but at the time, I think Brad Pitt was a bigger star. You had Julia Roberts. You had Andy Garcia.
Exactly. Yep.
But then other than that, Matt Damon wasn't really Matt Damon yet. He just had done a couple of, like, he did a Bourne movie. I don't know if he did two.
Oh, you're talking about when it was released?
I'm talking about Ocean's 11, their initial installment versus this initial installment. I love Bernie Mac, but a lot of people didn't know Bernie Mac. Casey Affleck, Ben Affleck's little brother, that's before Ben was winning Oscars. So he probably didn't even want people knowing that was Ben's brother. And then a whole bunch of people you don't know.
Okay. You might, because since you're going by when it was released, like at the time, 2001?
Yeah, like Rihanna's a big star. Sandra Bullock's an Oscar winner in the 90s action movie like Glue. You got Cate Blanchett. You got Anne Hathaway, Catwoman, aka Interstellar. And then you got chick from Harry Potter, which is Elena. And then you got Sarah Paulson, which isn't really a big star, but she's big to us, but kids don't know her.
True.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then you got Mindy from The Office, right? So I think these girls probably have more star power than the men in the original installment. That's why I was excited about this film. I'm like, oh no, this is not really a Ghostbusters situation where you just trying to make a female version of a male dominated film. I'm like, no, they really you don't put stars like this in a movie for it to bomb or the script to be horrible. So needless to say, I love the cast. So when we're talking about cast members that I love, I love Nine Ball, right? Which is Rihanna's character. Also like Tammy as well, which is Sarah Paulson, the one from American Crime Stories, the OJ miniseries. I liked her too because she seemed like a person. She didn't do anything really special, but those two seem like people that Danny would recruit, to where they're all like, Danny's group is all caricatures and stuff like that, to where Nine Ball is like, okay, you're a hacker. You just, it's a caricature like that. These films have never been really great on character development, by the way. And then Tammy, it's like, you're a stay-at-home mom, and the irony of you just being like a thief is just, it's pure irony there. So I was like, oh, I could see them with the original crew. So, and fun fact, Sarah Paulson dated Linus's mom from Ocean's 12 in real life. So talk about worlds colliding.
Oh, dang. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and she was on Signs too. And, she was basically the FBI agent who arrested everybody off of Ocean's 12. And she's also, I'm not sure, but I swore she was on some animated movie. I wanted to say, nah, that's not her in Toy Story. She was on Signs though, as the cop. But just do an IMDb search and you'll see who I'm talking about. So
yeah, I remember her.
All right, perfect. And then any other likes? I got like two more, but it's the only thing I heard you say is cast. So I'm starting to guess you probably didn't like this movie too much.
Not really.
Oh wow. For me, I always, like when you talk about genres that are dying in Hollywood, that have been dying in Hollywood, you got the Western, that's been dead for a minute. It's had a couple of revivals with Hateful Eight as well as Magnificent Seven, and you can't really even include Magnificent Seven in that. But the Western's basically long and gone. I felt like comedy was dying too, but every once in a while you'll get a good comedy movie that comes out. Horror was dying until Blumhouse like picked it up from the dirt and then shined that baby up. Mm-hmm. So to me, heist films have been making a comeback because of ever since Fast Five. You've had a heist movie, a solid heist movie every year. Dating back to 2015, you got Ant-Man. Then after that, 2016, you got Rogue One. 2017, you got Baby Driver. 2018, you got this. Regardless of how I feel about these movies, they make money, which is good for the genre. So for me, another like that I'm putting is just, it's a heist film. It's very hard for me to hate a heist film, by the way. Not like it, maybe, but hate it, I don't know. Like, I think I found a little bit more positives in this movie than you did. And also the last like that I got is the cameo from the former Ocean's members. Yen, Ruben, and Saul make an appearance. I'm not going to lie. I must have dozed off because I don't remember Saul being in this movie.
Me either. I remember Yen and Ruben. I don't remember Saul.
Okay, I'm like, did I miss a big portion? Because there was some parts I was like fidgeting with my candy. And I'm like, it's some boring parts in this movie. And I was like, did I miss that? You know, because I went and looked on the IMDb afterwards. And I'm like, they said he's uncredited. Maybe there's an after credit scene I didn't see. Or no something I just wasn't paying attention to. But I saw Yen and I saw Ruben. I didn't see Saul.
Yeah, I didn't see Saul. Yeah, I think I'm in like the same camp as you. Like, it's hard for me to hate a heist movie, but at the same time, I don't think I really like this one all that too much.
Sound like you hate it, but not too fast. Let's not rush to judgment. Let's go ahead and give me here's the moment you've been waiting for, Hulk. Give me the stuff that you hate.
Okay, the dialogue was just dry. Like, it wasn't funny at all. And don't get me wrong, I don't need you to be hilarious funny, but just get me through each scene. Like, just give me something sharp, give me something smart. Like, it had no wit, it had no like spark. It was just kind of just very uneventful throughout each like scene after scene. Like, I just kept waiting for it to just like start to build up, and it just never got there. And I was just like, whoa. And that's what really bugged me, because this is such a talented cast, and then like you failed them by not even giving them anything to like chew on. And I was just like, looking at the writers on this, I was just like, that's why. Like, I really felt like whatever the studio
Who were
thought,
the writers on this?
It was a Gary Ross, and then
that name sounds familiar, but I keep thinking of Hulk, Incredible Hulk. Can you refresh my memory what he did?
He did like Hunger Games. He did Pleasantville back in the day.
Pleasantville was good though.
It was clever, but I don't know. Like, I guess for whatever reason, like it didn't translate with.
He probably hasn't written since Pleasantville, because he didn't have to do a lot of writing in Hunger Games. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, what? Like, they should have picked a more stylish director. You know
not
what
even
I'm saying?
director. Not even the director. Because this movie looks good, so I don't know if the direction is the problem. You're right. It's the audio. It's the dialogue. Because if you, I say a good way to get somebody to want to watch the Ocean's 11 movie, if you go to that first scene where Danny reunites with the Julia Roberts character, right at the table before Benedict, when Benedict is late. The dialogue exchange in that movie, in that scene, is great. It was very sharp, like you talked about.
Yeah.
To where it's moments between him and Rusty, to where it's like, I was a kid and I was like, wow, I didn't even know people talk this way. Like, thieves are very stylistic with their tongue. To where this didn't have none of that. They came very close, because the one part that I like about another element that I like about the original trilogy. Sorry to keep comparing it to the original. I keep saying original, but previous trilogy is. But it's a fair comparison, you know, because that's what a lot of people are going to do. Is it's supposed to be an inside joke? Like, they got Brad Pitt and Clooney were big stars at the time, and they were almost playing themselves as playing other people. Exactly. So there's a scene in that movie where he's basically teaching Toby how to from Spider-Man 3 and that 70s show how to play poker. And when Rusty's leaving the club, paparazzi starts flashing pictures, and you think it's because it's Brad Pitt. Mm-hmm. But then behind him comes Toby, and he's like, "Oh, hey, I'll sign your autographs, whatever." And you're like, "Oh yeah, he's not Brad Pitt. He's Rusty, so he's a nobody." In this movie, they play with some of like the real world elements when Lou and Debbie are talking about how they don't want to put a man on the team, basically because men get more attention and they don't want attention. And that's basically a jab at how films like Ghostbusters have done, or female-led action movies, to where it's like, ain't nobody going to come see you opening weekend. And I thought it should have been more of that. But that happens like for 2 seconds of the film, and this movie has a 2-hour runtime. So that's less than 0.0002% of the movie. So I totally agree with you there.
Yeah, like the characters themselves, even like they didn't really have like the chemistry, like compared to like the first one, like which, sorry we keep bringing back to the original trilogy, but it's a fair comparison because it's set in the same world. But even like little details like with the brothers, like them always arguing, or like if you notice,
yeah, but they also, I feel you, but those are the weakest characters. You know that, right?
No, they are, but I'm just like, but those details, like just little things like that, like this what I want to show you, Hope, because I don't know, but how old were you when you first saw Ocean's 11? Okay, I was probably 13, 14.
All right. So Ocean's 11 came out in 2001. I saw it 2002, like soon as it was released on DVD.
Yeah, same here.
So I had to be over. Now you couldn't. Oh wow, I'm older than you, Hope.
I think by a year.
I am. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. It's your other brother I'm thinking of. I'm like, wow, I'm a big brother, Hope. Cool. So yeah. So I'm probably 15, going on 16 when I see that movie. And the thing is, I don't know if I just really couldn't digest good filmmaking at the time, because sometimes you watch it with innocent eyes.
Yeah. Because
a lot of the stuff they did in that movie, they did in this movie. And I'm wondering, why did I care so much about Danny before I knew Danny? I barely knew anything about him. You know what? I really didn't start caring about Danny till you find out why he was pulling the heist, the dinner scene. Yeah. It's like, okay, no, he won his wife back. Oh, that's, Benedict took his wife. You feel for him and his wife. I don't feel for Debbie that much. I kind of think she's a snitch. I kind of see why the guy snitched though. It's like, this man's an art buyer. You came to him trying to get over on people. So now you finally get caught and he's snitching. And I'm like, hey man, he's a snitch. You can't get mad at him for that. So I'm like, I don't really care too much about your plight, Danny. Debbie. You know what I mean? Like Danny had a lot of ownership. Like I lied to my wife. I'm sorry. I want you back. I was a thief. I never told you. I'm not saying they should have gave her the same storyline, but it seemed like she was blaming everybody else for her problems. I'm like, you deserve to go to jail, young lady. But yeah, I'm putting it as, for some reason, when Rusty meets, there wasn't necessarily chemistry. The same amount of chemistry that these gals have is the same chemistry that the other guys have. But for some reason, you cared about the other guys more. Like, why did you care about Frank? There should have been no reason you cared about him other than the fact that he was on Kings of Comedy. Like, there was no development to make you care about the original characters. But for some reason, you do. And I'm not trying to sound sexist, but you probably care for them because they were men. I asked myself that question yesterday too. Like, did I just care about them because they were men? Like, pause. But it's like, I feel bad. And then let me tell you another thing that's a dislike. What's the worst heist of the previous trilogy?
Technically 12 for me.
It is. Yeah. And the thing is, I like 12 because it was smoke and mirrors. At the end, they explained like, this heist that you thought we were pulling, we pulled the heist 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And basically the way they pulled the heist was the Yankee and the Red Sox hat. They basically started the fight in front of the guy carrying the egg, and Linus took his book bag. That was the dumbest heist ever in the world. It's like, I could have done that. I could have just started a fight with a Laker versus Boston fan, and then I could have just pulled the guy's book bag. So it's a horrible heist. It's the easiest heist. This rivals that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like but they clean it up at the end too. It's just that it's from the moment that they do the heist to they do the big reveal, like the flashback of what they really took. It's a 30-minute gap there, and it's like you kind of don't care about it anymore. So it's like, y'all spent 2 hours stealing a necklace. I feel you, but
exactly.
I don't know about
exactly.
I don't know about all that, bro. I don't know about that one.
Like the mini twist at the end kind of saves it.
It's too late.
Just a little bit. Like I don't want to spoil it, but
it was too late though. If you've seen the Ocean movies, you'll know that there's always a description flashback to where it shows this is what you saw, but this is what we actually did. But what happens is they do the heist, and it takes about 10 minutes of the person that they robbed being like, what just happened? And then they flash back. So it's like a 10-minute segment where you watch their victim is like, oh, woe is me. And then it jumps into the flashback. This movie, it's a 30-minute gap. Like they steal what they need to steal. 30 minutes go by. And then you're like, hey, you thought we were stealing this, but guess what we did 30 minutes ago? And I'm like, I feel you, but that's a little too late. I don't even remember the heist anymore. Like, I feel you. I give them credit because their dollar amount, I think Ocean's 11's group got 11 million per on the first one, to where these gals got 38. So that's some good planning on her part, but it's just the heist wasn't that good to me. And
at all.
And the biggest thing I mentioned is this. Go ahead.
No, it wasn't like tense. Like there was not really any tense moments. There was not moments where I was just like I really actually doubted the plan. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like I was never like, oh shoot. Like if they don't get this fixed, they're done. At least with like 11, 12, even 13, like they put in moments where you felt like, okay, this plan.
They got arrested.
Yeah, like this plan might not work. They actually could get caught. You know what I'm saying? Here and there.
Danny's on red alert. Yeah, he's been flagged.
Yeah.
And 13 is basically, oh, the earthquake isn't working. It's a moment like that. It's no moment like that in the film.
None.
It's like, oh, they got it.
Yeah.
This is easy.
And they're still.
It can't be this easy.
Exactly. And you're stealing what a diamond that's worth, a necklace that's worth $150 million, and it's just like no tense moments. Like like, come on.
Well, you thought she wasn't gonna get sick when she got sick. I'm joking, but that's too much of a spoiler. But another thing is honor amongst thieves, because when you look at movies like Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad, the idea is that you're making a movie around bad guys and you're getting the audience to cheer for them. I think Ocean's 11 is another addition to that genre, if you will, to where it's like you're cheering for the bad guys. When you watch Ocean's 11, I'm like, hey, Benedict has done nothing wrong. I really don't understand why Julia fell for that. It's like he operates a casino and he hates people who cheats. He hurts people who cheats. I'm like, that's kind of Batman's MO. He's a vigilante. So Danny's the bad guy, but you're cheering for the bad guy and you want him to get away with it. The thing I like about Danny, though, the reason they get me to cheer for him is because he has this honor amongst thieves approach to where it's like, nah, I'm not going to put you in jail. The way I'll get revenge is I'll make you look like a fool, because at the end of the day, if I take something from you, the insurance company reimburse you. I want you to have your equity back. I just want to take your pride. So I'm like, okay, Danny would never snitch. And he also tells Benedict, I know the people you will call for me and they like me better than you. Meaning, and Benedict, after he knew Danny robbed him, he never called the cops. His sister does that in this movie. Like something happens to where she's basically trying to set somebody up. And I'm like, hey, that's against like the rules. Like that's against the rules they talked about in Ocean's 12. Like you don't do that. It's honor amongst thieves, and you're not really supposed to do that. And they have this whole scene dedicated, in Ocean's 12 when Benedict basically hires them for the job, to where it's like he tripping right now. And even in Ocean's, even the FBI agent, where it's like sympathy or empathy, pick one or the other. Where Rusty's girlfriend, they're like, I wonder why she doesn't have empathy or sympathy for us when her dad's a thief. So with this one, I'm like, nah, like her goal is to basically put somebody behind bars. And I thought that was a little lame. It's a wimpy move. And that's like my biggest gripe on the film. But other than that, bro, I'm actually, believe it or not, for this to be your first film, and I'm, as much as I'm comparing this to Ocean's 11, another fair comparison?
What's up?
It's Ghostbusters. Because to me, that's what this falls under. It's like those type of films where Hollywood is basically trying to give you a girl version of an already popular male franchise. And I'm like, this did a way better job than Ghostbusters. Is it something that I would recommend that people go see in theaters? Probably not. But if you watch it on a Netflix or a DVD, you'll like the movie more. It's amplified.
Yeah, that's my thing too. Like I don't want to, like I don't hate it. I just don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just felt like.
Do you think they deserve a franchise?
I don't know. Like the only way I watch the second one is if they remix the cast. Like if they add some male characters in there. And I don't want to.
They're not going to do that till that's what they're building up towards. Danny's name is mentioned in this movie. Pictures of Danny are shown. Yeah. Danny's actually dead. He died in 2018. We don't know why. A lot of people believe that he faked his death.
Yeah, there's no way you could just.
Seems like that. And I think they're building up towards merging these franchise like some type of super Avengers shared universe thing. I don't think they're doing that until Ocean's 10 though. Like what's going to happen is you're going to have Ocean's 8, 9, and 10. And then you could go right into 11, 12, and 13, which aren't like, it's not a prequel sequel type thing, but it's they're definitely going to start making movies together. So I think people that I do think they deserve that. I feel like they could probably get a lot of the stuff that they got wrong just with a different writer. But this movie looks like it's going to make money, at least for their projections, to where they're probably going to stick with the same writer, which I don't think they should. But the people that you can't bring back, obviously, Bernie, R.I.P. Can't use Affleck because women would protest after, his allegations. So I don't think they're going to do this for 9. I definitely think they're going to do this for 10, though. They're going to start mix and matching Ocean's group, Danny's group with Debbie's group. If you have to pick your best from each group, can you give me an Ocean's 10 lineup that you think would be ideal and work on the big screen?
Okay. How many? 8 characters, right?
This had 8 characters, and Ocean's obviously went up to 13. But the thing is, you just picking the best from each. Okay. And when you look at their 8, it ain't a solid 8. When you look at Danny's 11, it ain't a solid 11. Plus you got Bernie, who's gone. So I'll give you my 10, and I guess you could go after me. I got mine ready. You ready? Yeah. So I need to pick 10. So I would pick Danny, obviously, because the king. Debbie, obviously, the sis, right? Rusty, who I believe Rusty had more people skills than Danny, because Danny was the brain. But it seems like other than Linus, the subordinates loved Rusty more. He was like the middleman, like, hey, funneling questions so Danny wouldn't have to deal with that. Lou is the female Rusty, same situation. Linus, I think, is better than the young lady that they had picking pockets. He would have been able to get it off with the magnet, I thought. So I put Linus, so I'm at 5. I'm putting Saul, because I think Saul saved their butts in a lot of those films. And 11 definitely, and 13 also. He's that ringer you could always throw in to where because of his age, he could fit any person that you want him to masquerade as. So
Saul's very underrated. Yeah, I agree.
Underrated, huge. And Livingston, I like Livingston because I don't necessarily consider Livingston a... Go ahead.
I wasn't a big fan of Livingston.
You tripping right now. You tripping. You know, Livingston was the brains behind that most of the time. And he was the only one smart enough to ask for help when they needed it. There's times they would have got arrested. But I like Livingston for his tech stuff. But and I never really considered Livingston a hacker. So that's why I'm putting 9-ball on there. Because she could get into any system to allow Livingston to manipulate whatever he wants. There's a Wi-Fi scene in this where they're too far underground. Livingston would have caught that. So putting them together, he'll kind of like supplement some of her deficiencies. Obviously, Yin, best grease man in history.
Definitely.
And I'll put Tammy in there too. I feel like she's just a little bit more organized. Because Rusty, she does a lot of the stuff that Rusty does, but Rusty did a lot of stuff. So I think you take some stuff off of his plate. Because if you notice, Rusty, he would dress up in character just like Saul, but he would also have Lou's people skills to where he managed the team. But he would also do the stuff that Tammy does as well, to where it's like, hey, I get in, I get out, I'm forgotten. That's why he was training Linus. But I think Tammy would be a good addition too. So that's my 10. Danny, Debbie, Rusty, Lou, Linus, Saul, Livingston, Yin, 9-ball, Tammy. And you kind of had a couple of stuff to say about my lineup, so I'm hoping yours is better.
All right. Okay, here's like my differences. I put Basher in there. I think like if you look at a lot of his...
I'm tripping. Take out Tammy. I'm tripping. Take out Tammy, put in Basher. I forgot. Go ahead.
Yeah, you
need a weapon specialist.
Exactly. Because, you know what I'm saying? He's the one that came out with the EMP. He's the one that came out with the earthquake machine and them raising the building. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like a lot of his.
I'm tripping.
A lot of his like input into the team was very crucial. So he would have to be on the team.
Because I'm sharing universes that I shouldn't right now. Because I'm like, well, you can't use him right now because he's disabled because of what happened in Civil War. But then, you know, that's just me mixing universes for no reason. Yeah.
But yeah, like most of the characters, like you said, like you know, 9-ball, like she's probably like my favorite character as well. Like she's definitely a must. Another different that I have is Daphne, which is Anne Hathaway's character. Like I thought,
stop it.
Okay, here's why. I thought with her, like, okay, I don't want to spoil too much. Like if anybody who hasn't seen it, listening to it, you know, stop, listen to the podcast for a little bit. I thought with her, like she knew right off the bat, like, yo, these guys are, you know what I'm saying? Like they're conning me. You know what I'm saying? Like her smarts and then her acting skills as well, which I thought was kind of meta. Like she was like the one character where it's just like, she knew everything was going on, but at the same time, she was still playing a role. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, she knows she's okay. Like these guys drugged me. You know what I'm saying? I'm throwing up or whatever, but I'm going to play along with these guys, even though I know like they're stealing from me. I thought like that was very cool of her character. And I'm like, you need somebody like that who can improvise and as well as actually go along with the plan midstream, which I thought was very crucial. So I could see her in a tight spot. I would like to have her on my team. Like you said, having Lou, Tammy, Debbie like on the team is essential. And then I think that was it. Like,
and stay with Anne Hathaway's character. You remember on Ocean's 12 how they were nicknaming all of their heists?
Yeah.
They were like, hey, we could do a baby in a basket with a cartwheel. I forgot the exact names.
Yeah.
But there's one particular heist that involves a celebrity, but you would need a celebrity. Instead, they remixed it with the cartwheel and put in Julia Roberts, who looks like a celebrity, which is actually Julia Roberts.
Exactly.
I prefer that over having a real celebrity because the fact that I think she was the one I thought she was one of the strongest actors, and I keep waiting for her to have like a breakthrough hit in Hollywood. I thought it would have happened after Dark Knight Rises, after Interstellar. I don't know why she's not in more films. It may be because of her choosing, but I'm like, why did y'all give her this to where she was so underwhelming? Because even her motives, like, well, after you found out we were thieves, why did you still want to stay on board? I need friends. I'm like, that's dumb. That's the dumbest explanation I ever heard. She can't join my group, but she could be on your super team if you want.
No, But to me, it fits like who she is.
I know. It's you don't gotta explain it to me. You did already. But
She's already rich. She's already a celebrity. You know what I'm saying?
They're rich. Don't say that. They're rich.
No, her herself. Like, she's rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, her character.
No, she's not. She's a blogger.
No, but
she's a blogger, man. Okay. She's probably not that rich.
I'm sure she has
because her eyes widened just like the others did when she heard the money.
No, but I'm like, okay, why are you choosing this? You know what I'm saying? Like this lady, like to wear over $50 million. To me, she has to have some kind of like, she's okay. Like, where she's just like, yeah, she could. Anybody else would take. Don't get me wrong. $38 million is $38 million.
No, but
at the same time,
I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, every person in Ocean's crew is richer than her. You do know that, so? Right? I'm positive. So? I'm positive. After Ocean's 11, they all became instant multimillionaires. Their net value
of course,
is bigger than any, like, her as a celebrity. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't necessarily need her money. It's really the star power you would be after. But I prefer, like, when they do stuff like the Julia Roberts thing, where it's like, get an actor. To me, that's funnier. That's more impressive.
I see what you're saying, but I still,
because I know she's not valued at $10 million. Even though they gave her that necklace, it was, come on, man. She got happy when she was like, oh, I need the money. And she walking everywhere around town without security. So she can't be that high profile.
Nah, I just thought it was like, okay, this character she could have messed up the whole plan. Cause to me, what I liked about her character is just like, she thought, she understood what I was thinking. Like, yo, this is not the best plan in the world. You know what I'm saying?
It's horrible. It's still horrible after they revealed everything.
Because to me, like, even if I'm throwing up, even if I'm sick or whatever, I'm gonna notice if you're taking $150 million off my neck. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, but that's the thing. No, the pickpockets are really good. Because I thought they established that Linus was better than this girl, though. Because when Linus takes it, you can't feel a thing. If you saw what he did with that hologram on Ocean's 12, you're not going to feel something like that coming off your neck. That's why I felt like they could have made Linus take it while she was out in the open and nobody would have noticed anything.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, I just thought it was just obvious. Like, okay, you're the only person that helped me between me going into the bathroom and then me coming out. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to know, like, oh my gosh, who took my necklace? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I liked her character, because I felt like she redeemed that part of the movie.
Oh my God. How about this? How about this as another dislike? If you show up to my property and you asking questions, you better show me a warrant. If you don't got a warrant, get out of my face. I'm not answering questions from no insurance agent.
Yeah, like they made the insurance agent like this big scary dude. I'm like, they didn't really establish that.
I kind of don't need to cooperate, dude.
Exactly.
Bye.
There was nothing about. He had no evidence whatsoever. The only reason why they answered this question is because, like, oh, he caught them in the past, like Debbie in the past, or her family in the past. But I'm like, that's not enough for me to answer questions. You're gonna have to come at me with, videotape, pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like, more evidence for me to.
I was like, wait, am I missing something? Do they have some type of jurisdiction that I don't know about in New York? Because I'm like, is this taking place in another country? I'm like, no, it's New York. It's an insurance agent. I'm like, get out of here, Jake from State Farm. Exactly. Like, get out of my face. But whatever, man. I don't know. So what's your lineup again? You had more differences?
That was it. I think we had it because. The only difference is because now I have my lineup is Danny, Rusty, Linus, Basher, Yen, Nineball, Daphne, Debbie, Lou, and Tammy. So it's just like I put
who's Daphne again?
That's Anne Hathaway.
Okay, yeah, that's the wow, sure. All right, man. All right,
well,
I'm anxious to hear what you guys.
I can't use Frank. The brothers I could never really use. There would be too much of a headache.
They come in twos.
Yeah.
They come in twos. And they're also the most... they was kind of floating for a little
bit. They're a headache. Like,
you know their biggest roles in those films?
Just like, okay, them arguing when they let the French dude,
the balloon.
Yeah, the balloon, like.
No, but don't you see a theme? They're always that. They're like, okay, Saul's gonna play a big role. We just need you guys to act like his bodyguards.
Exactly.
I could have done that. I give them credit but no, I can't. Remember when they were supposed to get the fake dice on Ocean's 13, and then he caused the rebellion?
Yeah, like
it's like you slowed down the process, to be honest. But nah, those two definitely not making my cut. But I'm not mad at yours though. You made me actually change one of mine's, so I gotta let go of Tammy. You know what? I'm taking Saul out because Saul wanted to retire since 12.
Yeah, that was part of the main reason. Yeah, that's made me take off Saul. It was just like, could I really trust him in another heist? Nah.
You could trust him because those heart attacks that he was having, he was faking. Every time you thought he was a weak link, he was like, I'm just faking. But he's wanted to retire since 12. So I'm like, putting Tammy in his spot.
And remember, they got him out of retirement in 11 too.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
but he wasn't no multi-millionaire off of 11. It don't look like, because he was betting at that racetrack, and it looked like it looked like he needed that money. It didn't look like he wanted it. So I'm like, okay, this is something you need. I think you need to go back to work, my friend. Social Security benefits aren't what they used to be. I'm actually anxious to hear what you guys think. I think this is a movie that deserves another installment, but it is something that you should watch on DVD or stream versus paying to go see it in the theater. So let me know if you agree or disagree with that. Anxious to hear what you guys think. So and also let me know your 10. If this is what they're leaning towards and making the Ocean's 10 franchise with mixing and matching, let me know who would be your ideal 10 candidates. So guys, it's about that time. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. Before you leave, if you like what you heard, share it with a friend on Apple Podcasts or wherever you go for your podcast. Don't let this be the last time we hear from you or you hear from us. Support the show and become a sponsor by visiting our Patreon at www.patreon.com/CouchTomatoFilms. Also, join us next week and check the show notes on where to find us weekly. It's Couch Tomato Films on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and Couch Tomato Film on Twitter. Other than that, peace.